Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Vanessa. And welcome to December.
Welcome to December.
Yes,
Wow.
It's December. I'm wearing my merry and bookish sweatshirt that I love so much.
That's so cute.
Yes, I wanted to wear a Christmas or holiday sweatshirt for our December 1st episode.
Man, you did so good. I just put on a shirt that didn't smell. So,
well, Nicole, you do know that our listeners can't smell you, right?
Right, but I can smell me.
Okay, great. Okay, fair.
I even had that thought as I was putting it on. I was like, man, this shirt kind of stinks. I'm going to change it. And then I even said to myself, nobody's going to care. It's a podcast.
Exactly.
All know. All know.
Okay. Next time we'll put a note in the description. Nicole's shirt does not smell today.
She's wearing a clean shirt, you guys.
Yeah,
that's how much this podcast matters.
That's right. I guess that's part of our promise from now on. We won't smell.
Yes.
I don't know if I'll promise the same thing, but okay.
Well, there's very few promises that I can keep. I feel like this is an easy one.
Okay, good. So I have to tell you, this morning, Tim was listening to our episode that came out yesterday, episode 14. And he said that he's only going to give us 4.5 stars because he said, remember, that's the episode where I had to tell everyone how fast he was in order for him to give us 5 stars. And he said that I said it too mockingly. He said, I need you and all of your listeners to believe that I'm fast. So I have to tell you, without any mocking, Tim is very fast.
So I have one thing to say to this. The first one is that was not part of the original agreement. So we should still get 5 stars.
That's right.
If he wants to change the rules of the game, then the stars should apply to this episode. So
I agree.
If we want 5 stars this episode, we have to say it like we mean it.
That's right. We believe it. Yeah, of course.
I totally believe it this time.
Of course.
Literally the fastest I've ever seen him run.
He was like the Flash. I'm very serious.
This is the most serious I've ever been about anything.
Nicole really wants the 5 stars.
Yes. I need them.
Yes. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. That was one of the first things he said as he comes into my room this morning when he got back from his run. He was like, listen, you guys were mocking and I don't like it. So yeah.
I just can't win. All right. Well, if he bumps us, if he rounds up to 5 stars, I'll mean it in this episode.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thank you. All right, what do you got for me?
I don't even know. My week was, I should say, I think last week I said that Mike left to go to the cabin, so he was still continuation of that cabin trip all week. So this whole past week, I hadn't seen him at all.
Yes.
And when Mike's not here, and it's just me and Remy and the other one, the other dog.
Yes, you do have another dog, Nicole.
I do have another dog. But when it's just us 3, there's not a lot going on. I mean, I took the time to just laze about, and I didn't even make dinner a single night. I just literally
survived on snacks.
Yeah. I think I had I know I had guac at least twice.
Okay.
I had chips and dips one night. I think I had cheese and crackers another night. I think one night I had just yogurt. I had a yogurt and I was like, I'm kind of full. And then I went to bed and I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry.
I have told you this privately, but I would like our listeners to know that I have yelled at Nicole about her eating habits, that she needs to have real food. Let's eat like an adult sometimes.
And I will tonight.
Okay. Because Mike is home.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I've really come to terms with the fact that like if I am left to my own devices, I am just not a healthy eater. like my lifestyle choices are not well.
No. So he needs to stick around more.
Or Ethan needs to come back.
Or yes.
Fair. Just need somebody else here.
Oh yes, because well, at least like you're gonna want to feed your child healthily, so that you know motivates you a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, I didn't really do anything else. Minus I hung out with you and Tim on Friday or Saturday, whatever day that was.
Saturday. Yeah, because he didn't get home in time for us to go do his errands that he wanted to do. We just decided to go drink with you.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Well, actually, let's rephrase that. Tim decided to come drink with us.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was the third wheel, not you.
Poor Tim.
No, poor Tim. It's all right. But yes, we did do that.
Yes. And I want to say that on that day or on Saturday when we went out to eat, I broke my rule about eating vegetarian.
Yes.
And I ate fish and chips. So I feel like I almost need to use that as my measuring scale this week because it is not something that I do very often, but for some reason on Saturday, I was like, I must eat fish and chips.
How did you feel afterward? You were fine?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
I don't remember being like anything but anything. So maybe that's a good sign. Maybe I'll just start eating fish again.
All right, great. My snack this week is also from eating out. Tim and I ordered Chili's the other night. Let me tell you, I've been doing terrible with my diet, so it's not surprising that I ate Chili's. And I had Southwestern egg rolls from there, and they're so delicious. But that's going to be my snack this week.
That sounds pretty good.
They're so well. You can't have them, but
is there chicken or something?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure there's chicken in them. I might be wrong, but I think there is. Yeah, but they're really good.
Yeah, there usually is. And
yeah. I'm not allowed to eat those again for a really long time. I'm not allowed to. I need to stop ordering food, Nicole.
I know. Well, yes. I mean, me and you both really need to work on this because I know there's things that I'll do for the podcast, but I also have my every year I have my rule. We're starting after Halloween to the new year.
Yes.
I can't gain more than 7 pounds.
Right.
So I have to, that's still a rule regardless of podcast. So.
Yes. Yeah, I remember this rule that you had last year, and last year I was still in my like super weight loss phase, and between Halloween and the end of the year, which is your timeline, I think I ended up losing like 6 pounds in that time last year.
Yeah.
Well, this year, that's I'm supposed to be in a cutting phase again, and somehow I'm failing miserably. So I think now my goal by the end of the year is going to be to maintain. Yes, I don't want to gain anything. I would like to lose, but I would say a win is maintaining. So next week, don't be surprised. Oh no. Next week is going to be Thanksgiving meal. Yeah, that'll be my snack. Okay, so the week after that, expect my snack to be like Diet Coke. Something like that.
That's fair.
Yes. Right. Okay, good. Because I got to get this under control. I need Yeah. Yeah, I do. Don't me. I need to get it under control.
Fine. I'll just eat all the snacks for both of us.
I love this. Do that.
All right.
Do you
I'm
also
already doing such a great job? So
you are. Can you also read all the books for both of us?
Well, I mean, I know I sent you this in a text, but last night I realized if I keep reading this book at the speed that I'm reading it, and I had spent all day cleaning Saturday and Sunday, so I said if I keep up what I'm doing, I'm gonna have 4 books this week, and I cannot go into a week with 4 books.
No, you cannot.
So I stopped reading yesterday. I just closed the book. And
No, but
I will come back to you tomorrow.
You're allowed to finish it. You could just move it to the next week. You don't have to talk about it just because you finished it. Oh, Nicole.
Nope. I'll finish it today. Both of them.
Fine.
Well, I'll probably finish listening to the one book on the way into work tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll probably finish the other one today or tomorrow.
So you should have finished it. And then I could have just claimed that I read 0 and then just given you the whole episode. So then I could save it for next week. And then I would have no pressure on me this week.
So mine was strategic because I know next week we have to do, what do we have to do here? Oh yeah, we have to do Eclipse.
Mm-hmm. You forgot the title of the book.
Maybe. So we have to finish Eclipse, and if I'm gonna put all my focus into Eclipse, I know from the other 2 it's gonna affect my weekly reading. So this is actually, it's like I planned this.
Well, see, that's why you would have been helping me out, because I haven't even started Eclipse yet, and we have to record in 1 week from today.
Yes.
And so you would have been helping me, but no.
I only care about me.
That's fine. That's fine. I did have a question for you, though, a book question, because I remembered you talking about was it whenever you had your 5-star rating? Was that yesterday's episode, or has it released yet? I don't know. Anyway, you had a 5-star rating, and you said you were going to re-look at some of your other books. Are you planning to do that for your end of year wrap up, or have you already started that?
I have not started that.
Okay. So I won't ask again until the end of year wrap up.
Let's call it end of year wrap up. I'll go back through and readjust some of my ratings.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just wondering if you had found any yet that you wanted to redo.
Yes, I have not looked.
Okay. So I started looking through some of my ratings throughout the year, and I think there might be a couple that I want to change.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so since we started doing the podcast, I have been failing at putting all my Goodreads ratings in. So I've been trying to go back and do that when I do my week's posts. And I think that's probably when I'm going to re-examine my feelings.
All right. Okay, good. Do you want to talk about our books now? Or do you have other things?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I have no other things. Let's talk books.
Okay. You first or me?
You.
Okay. Because I have one.
I knew it.
Yeah. I didn't even start another one. Whatever. That's fine. But I did post about it on our Instagram, because Skyshade released, which is the 3rd book in the Lightlark series, and I did promise that I was going to be reading it every night this week. It ended up only being 2 nights, actually, so it was not every night. I finished it fast. But before I tell you anything about it or my thoughts, I have something to complain about.
All right.
So, when this book was announced, this was a trilogy. It was a trilogy up until 3 days before this book was released. So like last week or whatever. Then she came out and said it's going to be now called the Lightlark Saga, and it's going to have 5 books. However, I did not know this before I read this book. I had not seen this announcement. So I was getting to like the last like 50 to 100 pages, and I was like, how in the hell are we closing out this trilogy? Like, there's no fucking possible way. And then it ends on a massive cliffhanger. And I was like,
oh, no.
What is happening? And so that's when I like Googled it. I looked it up to find it. And that's when I found out that she just announced that it was going to be a 5-book series.
Are they allowed to do that?
I feel like the answer is no. It should be no. Yes.
I wonder if it was on purpose. Like,
I don't know.
She said, I'm gonna finish this book, or I'm gonna finish this in 3 books. And then she got started writing. She said, you know what? I think I could do more.
Right.
Do more books. So, surprise, it is now a saga.
Right. So that's what I'm almost wondering if it's like the result of the popularity of it, like on Book Talk and stuff. And so it's like, I don't know if it's because part of my review, I'll tell you right now, this could have ended in this book. Like it didn't need to keep going. Oh, she could like, okay, I'll start. Okay. I'll start. So yes. I won't give too much away because it is the 3rd book of a series. And so there are things that could potentially be spoilers if you haven't read books 1 and 2, which are Lightlark and Nightbane. So I'm going to be kind of higher level in this one. But basically Isla, who is our lead. So there's a prophecy that she learns about in book 2. And all of this one, Skyshade, is her trying to figure out how she can break the prophecy or like get around this prophecy or like not have it come true, basically. So that's basically what she does the entire book. Figuring out how to break it, figuring out which of these 2 boys do I love more, which is so fucking annoying. And then the 3rd part is like there's like some things that are happening, like there's somebody that's coming in and like killing a bunch of people within their world, and so a lot of the book is also her trying to find out who that person is. So it's kind of like a mystery, a quest, like she's just kind of all over the place, which leads me to my first review.
Can I ask a question really quick? Mm-hmm. So I haven't finished the 2nd book.
Yeah.
Is all her problems like a continuation of the 1st and 2nd book? Yes. Or is this like a completely new problem that they're finding out or something?
So
if you can say that.
It's pretty much the same. I would say the only new problem really is the fact that somebody is there killing these people. It ultimately ends up being a new problem. Like that's kind of how the cliffhanger ends, is like, gotcha. Oh shit, there's this new thing that's happening. So it does end up being new, but a lot of pretty much the whole book is just stuff that we've been dealing with in 1 and 2, just in a different way.
Okay.
So, this book is like, it's all over the place. It's like, it's very jumpy, where like this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. And it's like, it almost feels like there's no real story to it. It's almost like she was trying to jump from big event to big event, or like, you know, big story point to big driving story point. It was like there was no story building up to those things. It was kind of like, so she's on this quest, right, where she's trying to figure out what this prophecy really means, and like, is there a way to break it? So she would go on this quest to find out an answer, because she's told, like, this person, if you climb this mountain and talk to this person in this cave, they will be able to give you the answer. So she'd get there and they'd give her like a tiny nugget of an answer, and then they'd be like, but if you go to this other person on this other dangerous quest, they'll for sure be able to tell you. And then it's like a constant stream of like dangerous quest after dangerous quest to get an answer, and nobody actually gives her the full answer. So that part was really frustrating. There's also like riddles all over the place. Like, all of the answers that she gets at these places is in a riddle that she has to like figure out, and that is frustrating. At one point in my notes, I just wrote down, I hate Isla. I hate her a lot. Yeah. I want her to stop talking, and she's acting like a child.
Yeah, she also, like, in the first book and in the second book, she also doesn't seem like she's I don't want to say not smart, but she's so sheltered.
Yes.
Just, you know, so
that's really what it is. It's like she's so sheltered and so like naive to so many things that she's just a child. And I don't know. So another problem that I had with this book is I don't know that it was fully edited. On one page, I'll tell you that in a second. So first one in the book, it reads "Death to the Mall," when it was supposed to say "Death to them all."
Oh.
And it says "Death to the Mall."
Great.
And then another one that said "Wiped her ears away" instead of tears.
Okay.
So clearly some editing that needed to happen there. And then maybe just the way that it was written. There was this one page that I had to read like 3 or 4 times before I realized that time had passed between one paragraph and the next.
Oh.
So yes, like it was written, clearly it's the same chapter, clearly it's the same everything, literally from one paragraph to the next. It to me, I'm like, okay, so this is all the same thought or the same like timeline. It literally jumped like a whole day from one paragraph to the next, and I was like, when did we get here? When did we leave the last scene? I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So there was that. There was a lot of so not necessarily the miscommunication trope, but more of like, I don't know, is like keeping secrets a trope, to where like you just don't share all the information, even though, so that happened like a lot, and that really bothers me. When we're like 80% through the book and you still haven't told this person, it's too much. It's too much.
At some point, you know, they're like, oh, I can't trust this person. That's why I don't tell my secrets. You're 3 books in.
Yes.
Make up your mind.
Yes, exactly. And so I also, this is really turning into just like a why I hated it. In this book, she is, I love him, I hate him, I love him, I hate him. Oh, I have a screenshot. Let me find this screenshot real quick, because I was like, why am I, Okay, she said, this is only a tiny minor baby spoiler. It's on page 26, so you're going to run into it super fast. She wanted to tell him that she needed to hide most here because despite hating him, she loved him. What the fuck? Despite hating him, she loved him. That is the premise of the entire fucking book. And that really bothers me. So yes, there's that. And then lastly, my last complaint is in book 1 and 2, Grimm calls her Heart Eater. That's like his nickname for her is Heart Eater, which I enjoy. I will accept this as a as a nickname, whatever, a pet name. But in this one, he calls her just Heart. And I don't like it. It's a very mild complaint, but I don't like it. So he can stop that and Isla can fuck off. Those are my notes.
Okay, so now my very important questions for you.
Tell me.
Which maybe you were about to say.
No, tell me.
Are you going to read 4 and 5?
Probably.
Okay. Now, you made a promise to me that once you finished book 3, you would just tell me what happens in 2 and 3, so I didn't have to finish.
Yes, I will tell you.
Do I now have to wait until 4 and 5?
No,
or will you just tell me from now on?
I'm just going to tell you from now on. So I'll catch you up. I'll catch you up on 2 and 3, and then I'm pretty sure I'm going to read them because I would like to know what happens. I feel like in this one she kind of made a decision, so hopefully I won't get the I love him, I hate him thing in 4. I am interested to see how it goes. I am surprised that she added 2 more books though. I feel like adding 1 more book was like, okay, cool, but adding 2 more, I now have no idea where this is going. Now, rating, I don't know what to give this one. It's not going to be higher than 3, that's for sure.
Oh, dang.
I almost want to give it just like a 2.5.
Okay. I mean, that's completely middle of the road.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning towards 2.5, but I haven't like fully landed. So that may be one that I reevaluate at the end of the year.
That's fair.
But yeah, so that's that.
Okay. I accept this.
And from what I can tell online, like she hasn't given a whole lot of information about book 4 and 5 yet, but it kind of sounds like both of them are coming out next year. So, at the very least, it's not like a year between each book.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I'll probably read them and maybe re-rate it after I read 4. But
so maybe we'll be able to wrap up this discussion.
Yes.
Next year.
Yes. So for now, we're gonna go with 2.5 Southwestern egg rolls, which is actually how many I ate.
Wow.
Okay.
Man, it's like you plan these things.
Right. So yeah, I'm sorry that was a little chaotic. I feel like some of it was hard just because of being book 3 and some of it was hard because I really yeah. I'll probably have spoilery things in my Goodreads when this episode goes up. So check those out if you want to see them.
Yeah. I think when you do in like a series, when you do book or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in this case, it's harder to do like a quality
summary
without giving away stuff. So
yeah, it's difficult. So anyway, that's that. I'm done. I'm shutting up now.
All right, only if you want to.
Okay.
Okay, well, I had 2 books this week, magically. So.
Are you lying? Oh, no, because you saved. I thought you finished 3.
No.
Okay, you stopped yourself before you finished the 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So I turned off my audiobook and I said, I'll just go read this other book. And then I was like, wait a second. If I'm really smart about this. So I stopped reading.
Okay.
And I said, I'll just read Eclipse. And I think I read like 2 pages.
Okay.
So.
I don't know which is worse. Me not even pretending and didn't even open it, or you're like, yeah, I'm gonna read it, and then you read 2 pages.
Yes. I don't know which is worse either, but
okay.
Whatever. All right. So, like I said, 2 books this week. The first one is a history book.
Okay.
And when I wrote my notes down, I just saw this. Sorry. When I wrote my notes for this book, I have title, author, how I listened to it, in genre, and I put in genre. So
yes, it is.
it is a genre, guys, in case you're curious about this book. So this book, called Ghosts of Honolulu, is the genre history. It's by Mark Harmon and Leon Carroll. And a side note about the author, I did not know this when I picked up the book. I apparently did not read the description that well. Mark Harmon is in the TV show NCIS.
I was wondering if that's who it was, because I know the actor's name, and as soon as you said it, I was like, the actor?
I know. So I don't watch NCIS. Okay. I had no clue.
He's a very handsome man.
Oh. Yeah, so I didn't realize it until I got I thought it was weird because he's talking about, there's like a foreword and they're talking about NCIS, and I was like, okay, this is weird. Like my time in NCIS, and I was like, all right, okay, whatever, don't care. So anyway, apparently he helped write this book. Okay, so if you're into NCIS, this book has nothing to do with NCIS.
Great.
He just helped write it.
Okay.
So anyway. Funny. This book is about, I think actually I don't have to go too deep into it because most people already know the story of Pearl Harbor and the events that led to the U.S. joining in World War II. So the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So this book is more of I don't want to call it a side story, but it is more of the story within that story, if you want to say. So it focuses mainly on a gentleman his name is Douglas Wada, and he is a Japanese American who lives on the island of Hawaii, and he is a counterintelligence agent. He lives there, but he works for counterintelligence as an officer. And then there's a second gentleman, his name is Takeo Yoshikawa. Okay. And he is a Japanese spy who is living on the island as well, under the guise of being a diplomat. So basically the whole book is their roles in the events leading up to, during, and after what happens to them after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Okay. Now, my thoughts on this book. That's a very low level description. Yeah. Because my thoughts on this book is I don't even know if this is the right term, but there's a lot of historical, we'll call it world building. I'm air quoting. Okay. World building. The book is about, Wada and Yoshikawa and the parts that they play in what happened, but they have very small roles in the book. Okay. They're almost I almost feel like they're side characters. Okay. Because it's just, I don't know. The book made the description, if you go read the description, the book's description,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it out where it's almost like a spy thriller because they're like, oh yeah, he was working on trying to find, infiltrate and find all the spies leading up to World War II. And they do talk about that a little, but it's a lot more. I felt like they wanted to tell the story of like Japanese Americans in Hawaii during the attack and how that affected them, but it felt like they got lost.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to add more information, so it was just quantity over quality.
Okay.
Every single thought bubble that happened, and not just by these two guys, by literally everybody in the whole entire like government. Okay. So it was so by the time you get to the actual bombing of Pearl Harbor, mm-hmm. you're almost at the end of the book.
Oh.
And so you have about the last maybe third of the book. So
just even based on the title, to me, Ghost of Honolulu, to me, feels like it would be more about the aftermath of like, not real ghosts, but like what is left behind from this tragedy, or like this event that happened there. So it's weird to me that it's like almost all before.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, I took it like they were trying to make a spy thriller, but they just got bogged down in the weeds with, I have to provide this information, so it's backstory, so why people were doing the things that they were doing. And by the time they got to the actual bombing portion, they realized they probably had to like wrap up the book. So
they're like, well, shit, we're done now.
Yeah. So I think this is probably another book, like you were saying earlier, could have benefited from an editor who was like, hey guys. But yeah, it was a good book. I give it three fish and chips. It was a decent read, but it's another one of those where the book description got me. It wasn't exactly what the description said it was going to be. And also, if you are going into this thinking it's going to be NCIS style because it's written by Mark Harmon,
right?
No. Yeah. No. Very, very small role. I think they only talk about it in the
forward.
Yes, thank you. That word, the forward. So, second book. This one is called The Familiar by by Leigh Bardugo. Yeah. So this one I read on my phone. It is also it is a fantasy. So this one is a fantasy.
It's not just genre.
It is not just a genre. So it starts with a girl. Her name is Lucia, and she lives in Madrid during the reign of King Philip. And if you're familiar with that time frame, King Philip is known for the Inquisition, and they play a pretty big role in this book. So unfortunately for Lucia, this is not great timing because Lucia is Jewish and she can also do magic. So she is constantly...
Is magic not allowed in this? Okay.
No.
All
right. Basically, anybody who can do anything that seems suspicious.
Okay.
Just a group of people who would come through and basically, end you.
Right.
So that being said, she's just in constant fear of being found out by the Inquisition. So she takes a job as a scullery maid, and she does this for a family that is not very well to do, and she does this for a reason. She's doing it because she's thinking she can just hide out working for these people. But unfortunately, one day she is caught doing magic by the lady of the house.
Okay.
And she then rebrands Lucia's magic into miracles. So
yes.
you no longer do magic, you do miracles.
That's right.
Right. And the lady of the house then uses her miracles to better her status.
How do people think she's doing these miracles? Not by magic.
No. Divine influence.
Okay. Fair.
So, and the lady now is like, she's trying to use this divine influence so that way she'll be invited to better parties and she'll be able, all this other stuff.
So a better social status, essentially.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty quick in the book, I think within like the second or third time she displays her miracles for like a group of people, she's brought to the attention of a man who also wants her magic.
Okay.
Miracles. And the reason he wants them is because he's trying to get back in favor with the king. And this guy believes that by taking Lucia and showing her her miracles before the king will also take him back into his embrace and put him back as like a member of his cabinet again. Okay. And the reason that this is important is because another historical fact is the King of Portugal is looking for a way to defeat the Queen of England. And he thinks by having a miracle worker on his team, he'll be able to do so. So they set up this whole big spectacle where they have like 3 tests they have to pass. Okay. And they have to use their miracles to do it. So basically, she's threatened into doing it, and she agrees. And so then the rest of the book is her, doing these 3, these 3 trials and what happens out of that. Now, there is a gentleman that she meets. His name is, I'm going to butcher this, Santangel. Okay. And he is an immortal familiar. And that's where the book, I had to bring him up because that's where the book gets the familiar. Yeah. So, and he is in service or debt to, well, he's been tricked, but he's in service to a family who is bankrolling Lucia's place in the competition. Okay. So he is trying to help her win the competition because he thinks he can get out of being a familiar if she does well, and she doesn't realize that. So, hold on. So if he's a familiar, does that mean he is currently in like animal form? No. Oh, he's just a familiar as a human? Yep, I don't think I've ever heard that. Yeah, me neither. Okay. And I don't think he ever turns into an animal in the book. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, but his familiarness or his ability, sorry, is they do talk about that a lot. Okay. But basically, it's one of those things where their fates are directly linked. Okay. And it's either one or the other, right? And unfortunately, they fall in love. Okay. So hard choices have to be made. Oh, it's no. Sad. Okay. So that very poorly described book description, you're probably not surprised. Better than mine, so you're fine. Right. Well, you're probably not going to be surprised to find that based on that book description, my sister DNF'd this book. Oh, she DNF'd? For some reason, I thought she finished it and just didn't really like it, but she DNF'd. Okay. She DNF'd it, and so I sent her a text and I asked her why, and she said she thought it was slow. Okay. It had a slow start, and she had a hard time getting into it. Okay. So I agree with the slow start. The hard time getting into it makes sense if the start is slow, right? But I actually ended up really enjoying this book. Okay. So I did not DNF it, obviously. Yeah. I would say the only other thoughts that I had about the book that maybe knocked it down from a 5 is not because of this, but the author tells the story from multiple POVs. But sometimes, kind of like you were saying earlier, sometimes she changes POVs without telling you.
Yes.
So you'll be, and also it's sometimes in the same paragraph. So I was just like,
how do you do this?
Who is talking?
Yeah. How do you expect me to know what's going on?
Right. Yeah. So
okay.
I'm curious. It makes me curious about the audiobook, if there's like multiple people for, if there was like multiple voice actors for all these characters, it might be a little bit easier. So, anybody who's listened to The Familiar, I'd be interested to hear if they have multiple voice actors. And
yes.
Did you have the same problem?
Of being confused as to who was talking.
Right.
Yeah.
So I actually really enjoyed Lucy's Magic. I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed the side characters. They all had good growth where appropriate. And I say that is they had good growth, but it's only one book.
Right.
So yeah, it wasn't like just the same thing for the whole book. They, feelings change, stuff like that. It was good. So
can I ask you a question about Lucia's magic? Does she have like just strong abilities and can do a bunch of things, or is she specialized and she can only do like certain magics? If it's too spoilery, don't tell me, but
she has strong magic.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell you in a way that doesn't spoil it. She has very strong magic, but the type of magic it is kind of makes her almost all powerful.
Okay.
So whereas like some of the other players in the, who's going to be the king's, helper,
You're right.
is kind of more specialized.
Okay.
So, but
okay.
Yeah, she is definitely the most powerful person in this book. Right.
Okay.
So, there is some spice. Like I said, they are, it's mild romance. There is some spice. It's, I don't know it's not quite closed door, but it's not open door.
Okay.
I guess it's, maybe there's a better way to describe this because it's not described in real time.
Okay.
She's just like, she just thinks about it later.
Okay.
So she's just like, oh, yes, it was so nice. But she doesn't describe it. It's not graphic. She's not like, oh, yes, and then I did this act, and then he did this back to me. It's just like...
So just like, I feel like that's just like normal spice then. Like,
okay,
what's happening. You kind of get the idea, but it's not like graphically...
in your face.
Telling you, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So... okay, so considering that the familiar is immortal and stuff like that, and the Inquisition kills everybody who is a magic person. I thought the author did a great job with the ending.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was one of the better endings in a lot of these books in a long time. So I really enjoyed it. So I tentatively give this book 4.5 fish and chips.
Excellent. So is part of that half a star because it's an immortal with a 20-something?
Maybe.
Okay. Fair. I come to expect this from you now. If you read that, I don't expect it to be... I expect it to have something off.
Right. So I really enjoyed this book. I definitely recommend. Like I said, tentatively 4.5.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know.
Do you know where your sister stopped? Like, was like 100 pages or something? Okay.
No, she didn't tell me. I have a feeling I know about where it is because it is kind of difficult in the beginning to follow for the first 70, 80 pages.
Okay.
Until about the time she is discovered with her magic by other people besides the people in the house, that's when the book starts to get good. But it's when she's confined to just the house stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it is kind of on the slow side.
Okay. It just takes a little to grab you. Okay, that's fair. Are you ready for our discussion, or do you have more to talk to me about?
No.
Okay. I think it's a quick one today.
Nice.
Is there a perfect number of books to read in a year?
Yes.
I knew that would be your answer.
Snarky Nicole. Podcast Nicole.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Yes. Podcast Nicole says the perfect number of books a year is 104.
So I think I also have a different answer between podcast me and real life me.
Right.
Or just real life people. But I will disagree with you because podcast me is half of that. Because podcast me, the perfect number is one book a year. Whoa. One book a week. I almost got it wrong again. Yes.
I will tell you, Vanessa, you have to read more than one book a year if we're going to continue this podcast.
Yes, that is fair.
Or even a month, which I think is what you were going to say second.
I was. I can't get my timelines right. Yes. Podcast me, the perfect number is one book a week. So that's that. My non-podcast person, or even like non-book talk person, bookstagram person, whatever, I feel like the average reader is like 6 to 12 books a year. Is what I think. Like, I would be like, you are a reader if you read 6 to 12 books a year. Because that's either one every other month or one every month, right? I feel like that is a good, you are a reader.
Okay.
That's my answer.
All right. So I guess I took this question differently.
Okay.
I didn't, because I think I got caught on the word perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So is there a perfect number of books to read in a year? I don't think there is a perfect number of books to read a year.
No, there isn't.
You know, like I know what you're saying is the average person probably reads, like you were saying, between 6 and 12 books a year. That makes sense. Like one a month.
Yes.
About, right? But, you know, if you're not a big book reader, one, how you've stumbled across this podcast is beyond me. And then how did you get to this specific episode? I'd also like to know. But I'd say, like, most people, like, don't set a reading goal. Don't read about a specific number of books in a year or whatever. However many you have to finish, don't put that on yourself.
Right. In
my opinion, books are about making you happy. Yeah. And books should, you know, if you're really thinking about what's the perfect number of books, like how many books can you read that make you happy, give you enjoyment, and if that's you only have time for one book a year, like Vanessa, or
yes, exactly.
Or if you have time for 135 books in a year because you're a crazy person, as long
like
as
Nicole,
as long as you're enjoying your books,
yes.
I think that's whatever you end up with is the perfect number.
I agree. I think that's the right answer if you focus on the word perfect. I think I just avoided that word in the question.
Well, my first thought was the same as yours, because as soon as you said it, I was like, oh no, you will not trick me.
Yes, I should have answered first. The perfect number is 52.
Like, didn't even just comma. Here's the question mark. You were just like, comma, what is the perfect number of books in a year? 52.
52. Dang it, I gave you too much time.
Yes. You were too polite and let me answer first.
Yes. But yes, I do think you're right. If you are questioning the perfect number, I think that answer is whatever you read is perfect. But for some reason my brain went more to like, what's a good amount to call yourself a reader?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you consider yourself to be a reader, like a serious reader, and if you really were trying to figure out like what a good goal is, maybe goal is the better word. Yeah. Here is if you're trying to figure out goals, like, do you make it an obnoxiously large number and like really force yourself to get like 100 books in a year, or 1 book a month or something like that.
I really like the idea of setting your goal small and then just blowing past it.
And then just destroying it.
Yes. So I think my goal next year is going to be 12. and then when I read 52, it'll be like, yes, great job, Vanessa.
Yeah. Well, see, I was like, when I set my goal this year for how many books I was going to read, I think I said 50.
I know you did.
And last year, just on my Kindle, I had 90. So
why would you do that then?
So I totally did not I did not do a good job with my reading goal.
So basically your goal is not set due to your previous reading endeavors. It's just set because you're like, 50 sounds good.
Right. Then I don't want to set it like next year I will say 104.
Okay.
It's, spoiler alert, but like normally I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it'll happen when it happens. And
the podcast has made you like a extreme goal setter.
I know. Sometimes it's just I'll say 50 and then I just see what part of the year I hit 50.
Okay.
Right? So if this year I hit it in like, I don't know, June or something. I'm like, I'm reading so fast. So
yeah, you did. You're wild with your reading this year. All right. Well, I think that's everything. The end.
No more thoughts.
Excellent. I was going to say this is not the end because now you have to listen to me say, go tell us what your perfect number is, like yours specifically. What is your perfect number to read in a year? Go to our Instagram at Savor the Story Pod. Tell us there. You can go to our website, savorthestorypod.com, and send us a message through the contact form there. Tell us that. You can also tell us bonus bites things. So actually, today's episode is being released at the same time as our Eclipse bonus bites 3. But anyways, that's it. The end. For real this time.
It is the end. Now I have no more thoughts.
Great. Bye.
Bye. Get out of here. And he thinks by showing this girl, I was waiting for that. I saw it about to happen out of the corner of my eye. All right. So she thinks that